Hi there, we're going to do runes, actually my rune cards, and my drawing oracle. Okay, so we're just going to see what messages come through for you. Use your own intuition to decide if one of these picks has a message for you. It's going to be pick 1 for the yellow Sharpie, pick 2 the blue, pick 3 the orange, pick 4 the red, and pick 5 the green. So take a deep breath. Only take what resonates as truth for you. And I'm going to pause while I shuffle and deal out some cards for each of these piles, and I'll meet you at your reading. Okay, pick 1. I asked for 3 runes, we got 4, and then these are the cards from my drawing oracle. Let's just see what they are. I haven't looked yet. I was pulling up a chart because I'm just learning the runes. We've got Perthrow, Nothies, Two Walls, and Manas. Okay, let's see what this is. I just have to reference this chart, so please bear with me on that. This is how I like to learn, is by hands-on when it counts. So you're being something that you want is being, there's like a little bit of friction getting to it, and maybe there's been some difficulty, some struggle in coming together with another, or with having this manifest in your life, something that you really want, something that is meant to be, something that is divine. Okay, so you're having to go through your shadow, and it's been difficult. There's been some struggle in going through your shadow towards something that you want to manifest, something divine. Now this seems like, you know, the human condition, really. So there's more to know. But I think that there's like magician energy here, like you've been trying to manifest something. You've been actively working towards something. It does have to do with love, perhaps even loving yourself. We've got music notes here, so you're creating something, and it feels like there's a lot of pressure to get it done. Perhaps like you're hearing signs through music. It's a love that's motivating you. You're really working hard to create this thing, and it's because you feel it's time to do it. Okay, I feel like we need to investigate a little bit on what the shadow is. So I'm just reaching for some other cards here. What is the struggle that pick 1 is experiencing with this manifestation? What is the struggle? The struggle is that you've been really investigating. The struggle is that it's like you're wanting to know, you're wanting to figure things out, you're looking, you're searching, you're seeking. And it's like you haven't found your answer yet. You're seeking a spark. You're seeking something that will drive you forward, but your mind, something you know, something that you're trying to figure out, you're trying to figure things out, so it's taking you out of your drive forward. So what is the shadow then that makes you want to figure things out? Let's ask the Hermes deck. Hermes seems like the guy who likes to figure things out too, so let's see what it is. And it's no sacrifice, it's just a simple word. Two hearts beating in two separate worlds. And it's no sacrifice, it's no sacrifice, it's no sacrifice at all. Oh, isn't that interesting? So that song popped in my head. We had that music, we had love, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you must be thinking about the sacrifices that you'll have to make to pursue something. That's interesting. So, anything else here? And it's no sacrifice, it's just a simple word. There's unknown. You don't know. What you're trying to know, it can't be known. So you're having to sacrifice without knowing an outcome. But it's something divine you're headed towards. You're headed towards a divine union or manifestation. And there are more than one unknown factors. Wow. So I understand, because sometimes the divine sends us into situations which don't turn out the way we expect. You know, sometimes there have been times where I wanted to refuse to go into a situation without knowing, but they forced me in because my soul knew better. My soul wanted to learn, and my soul needed the experience, even if my human didn't always love the outcome. So, yeah, this is like a spiritual lesson in, let's see what Spirit says. I don't want to speak out of line here on this. I have the instinct to say in surrender, but also it's like, if it's a decision towards love, why are you using your mind to try to make it? I suppose because logic comes into it for you, and I'm not one to say if that's right or wrong, because my experience, blindly headed in the direction of love, has definitely taught me that I needed to have boundaries and I needed to use my logic, at least part of the time. The romantic in me would say, like, that logic doesn't come into love. That love is the thing. Love is the driving force. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay, these are just the thoughts that I had about this. That this is a transformative experience. That you are learning surrender. You are learning to have to look at your shadow, look at the things like maybe it's in your shadow that you're trying to figure things out. There's a reason. Why are you operating in a way that makes you want to know the answer, that makes you want to know the outcome? And also, what is your intention? When you're going into this manifestation, this divine union, this divine manifestation, what is the intention of creating it? If your intention is self-serving, then the results are going to reflect that. If your intention is to serve God, then your reflection is going to, then the result is going to reflect that. If it's going to create the win-win-win, then it's going to reflect that. If it's a selfish intention, then the result will be according. And it also, the advice, the third card that came out was go for it. And Mars is here on the bottom of the deck here, and this is our driving force. This is our will. This is us taking action. So it's like the divine isn't going to do it for you. You are what you're trying to figure out. You're not going to know the answer to, and so that means your hurdle is getting good with and finding out what is the reason that you want to intellectualize all of your drive, that you want to know the answer, you know? Like, if we try to control all the factors, we'll miss out on a lot in life, is what I've kind of realized. Some of my spiritual lessons, which were very painful, brought me to that realization. So, but these are the advices from Spirit. Check your intention. Know that this is a transformative experience. You're not going to know everything. That's what we got from the Hermes deck. There are unknown factors. Yes, they are acknowledging that you are trying to weigh a sacrifice. It's also saying go for it. So what is it you're sacrificing? Why don't you want to sacrifice it? You know, like, is it a loving reason? Is the intention self-serving, or is it, you know, in the best interest of all? Those are the kind of questions that come to mind with this situation. So I hope that is helpful. I'm going to end your reading there, and thank you for spending your time with me, Pick One. Maybe we'll see you next time. Hi, Pick Two. Okay, so I've dealt out your rune cards here and the cards from the Drawing Oracle. And as we flip these runes, I'm just learning the runes, so you'll please bear with me as I look them up on my chart here and see what we're looking at. So we have Othala, and let's see, I'm just looking it up on my chart here. Inherited property, genetics, ancestry, okay. Laguz, fertility, living, renewal, carrying on a family tradition, carrying on a family inheritance, okay. Dagaz, this is intuition, okay. Being guided by spirit. And then Gibo, divine interaction. Alright, this is interesting. So something through your ancestry where you're carrying on a legacy, you're creating a legacy out of something you inherited. You're using your intuition, so you're being guided, perhaps by your ancestors and by your divine gifts. You're very in touch with your spirits, and your spirit guides consist of your ancestors as well as others that are working with you to guide you. Okay, well, let's see what we've got Isis, so she's very healing. This is life-bringing, so you may be pregnant, you may be very fertile at this time, you may be birthing a new project. You are experiencing abundance with this new project. You're very, perhaps wealthy, perhaps comfortable in your wealth. Perhaps the new project is something that will generate wealth. Let's see. I think you're very independent. You're a very strong, independent, wise soul who is contributing to the whole. Like, you're collaborating. Even though you're very independent, it's like you're contributing a piece of something that's much more whole, a bigger picture. And we've got these creating harmony, creating maybe literally music, maybe literally creating music independently that contributes to our collective in a way that brings you profit. In a way that you feel like you've done your part. Okay, is there anything else we should know about Pick Two's creations? Anything else we should know about Pick Two's creations? Yeah, look, we got provider, comfort, wealth, gifts, generous. Your creations are causing you to be very comfortable and creating a situation where you can be very generous, whether it is with your creative endeavors and what you're sharing with the world, or with your wealth itself. You're very comfortable in life at this time. And you may be creating a partnership. This card is Partners in Crime, two of a kind, me and you, a couple too. It was in reverse, so for some of you it could be that you're actually going to stay independent. But we can clarify that. Could be different for different people. Satisfied, satiated, a happy family, fed and full. Yeah, I feel like this is something that's very fulfilling for you. Something you maybe worked very hard for a long time. And this is going to create, or has created, a circle of innocence, trust, and friends. Wow, you're you seem like you're in a really good position here to be enjoying the goodness that is existing here on Earth and in life. Anything from this Hermes deck here? It's still an ever unfolding mystery. Look, we've got more of your ancestors here. Your ancestors are proud. Your ancestors are honoring you and your journey and what you've created. And there's just so much more to know and more to come, and more that you are creating that you haven't even created yet. Like, this is just the beginning, I feel like. You're continuing to create. Okay, any advice, Spirit? I just wanted to come out gratitude, so I'm sure that you know that it's important to be in gratitude. I'm sure that's what helped you get to where you are. What is in front of me? Yeah. That's how you got to where you are, is paying attention to what was in front of you. Jupiter. Just enjoy the beneficial things that you're experiencing now, which are beneficial for not only you, but many others, and that are ever expanding. Enjoy your self-expression. Enjoy being who you are. Enjoy romance. Enjoy shining. Enjoy allowing others to shine. Enjoy your possessions. Enjoy how you're making a living. Enjoy the self-worth that you know that you have. Deal with any wounding that comes up. And know that this is definitely seen, by public. This is affecting your reputation, and how you make a living is all a part of this. Okay, these sound like things that you already knew. So I hope this was still fun for you. I hope that it was helpful in some way. And I want to thank you for spending your time with me. It looks like your time is very valuable. I think you value it very much. And I'm honored that you would stop by. Maybe we'll see you next time. I picked 3. Okay, so I've dealt out the cards for your runes and the drawing oracle. And we're going to look at the runes first. And oh, there's one over here. Please bear with me as I lay these out. I'm going to be looking them up on my chart because I'm just learning about runes. Okay, so Gibo, divine interaction, a gift. Then we got Raidho. Let's see. Solar chariot, wheel, rhythm. Okay, so there's a change, a gift, which brings in a change, some sort of travel. Othala, which is inherited prosperity, ancestral. Okay, you're inheriting a gift, which is coming from your ancestors. There is unknown about it. It's still a mystery to you at this point. It's not been revealed to you yet. And Burkano. So this must mean that you're being prepared to birth this onto Earth into your life. You're trying to ground something that comes through your ancestry. That is a gift that you are being opened to. Okay? And let's see what the drawing oracle reveals. You've been on a path, and I think you've been remaining positive about the path you're on. You've been kind of moving forward with your eye on the prize, knowing what you're headed for. You may be in a divine partnership, or that may be part of this. This is a potato, and I don't know why, but potato makes me laugh just because there's a point in my in my life where my children would always call each other potatoes, and it was supposed to be some sort of like insult, and but I don't believe this is like an insult. I believe it's like this potato's grounded. It's in the earth. It's buried, right? A potato. So you're bringing something to earth that some people might not even value what it is you're bringing. I think you see the benefit of it, and maybe your partner sees the benefit of it, or maybe it'll line you up with a partner. Okay, because I know there's a lot that you don't know yet. Is there anything that you can tell us, Spirit, about what this is? It's a new way to navigate difficult situations, disagreements, quarrels. It's something where you will have a new tool in your toolbox that will allow you to deal with discord. Does that make sense, Spirit? Let's see if there's another card here. Tell us about the potato. Tell us about the potato. Yeah, some people might not like it. Some people might even fight against it or not find value in it, or even try to stop you in some way. So as you go, as you're on this journey, right, like traversing certain things from different angles over and over again to see them in different ways, you're getting to see a bigger picture than a lot of people get to see, especially when it comes to things like burdens, disagreements, quarrels, things that are heavy. And because you know what's possible, you know, and because you know what's possible, you're willing to go into these deep, dark places to look. And you're looking at how to create harmony. how to create harmony and allow everyone to live happily the way that they want to live. And the potato, when I asked about tell us about the potato, it was alchemize, healer, transmute, empath. Yeah, it's because you have these skills that you are able to do this. So it's like you're very brave and you're a peaceful being, but you're willing to go into these darker places to see. And I think that while you're in these darker places, seeing is providing the fertile ground for you to bring in this gift that you have. Okay, yes, that makes sense. Let's see what Hermes deck has to say about this. Anything that you can add here for us? It's a lot there. Should we take all that? Okay. Your curiosity is a factor here. You have certain talents and skills. We talked about that. These, the fact that you can do alchemy, heal, transmute, and that you have empathy. There are unknown factors, like you still don't know what this gift is, okay? And that must play into it, right? Like you can't have this gift before you see all you need to see before the gift is brought. Because if you just brought this gift and hadn't seen all the angles that you needed to see, it wouldn't be as effective for you to use it. It would bypass certain things that needed to be acknowledged, to be alchemized and transmuted. Yeah, you're looking at polarity. You're doing something about and with polarity. I feel that. I feel like somehow polarity is being used to your advantage. You're looking at it so... Oh, I feel this so strongly, and I feel like very emotional about it. Caduceus. I feel like that's a tool of Hermes. Is that like the thing that he's carrying or something? I'm not certain. Yeah, unknown factors, lots of mystery. I want to just look up Caduceus. Why not, right? What is Caduceus, please? An ancient Greek or Roman herald's wand, typically one with two serpents twined around it, carried by the messenger god Hermes or Mercury. It's identified with thieves, merchants, and messengers. Mercury is said to be the patron of thieves and outlaws, not a desirable protector of physicians. Interesting. So you're going into the war, and you're bringing a message. And it's specifically for thieves and outlaws. Thieves could be like vampires. Thieves could be like people who are unaware of their own power, people who are disempowered, who are, you know, fighting for energy from each other. It could be as simple as that kind of war. The imbalanced energy exchange that happens amongst people who are disempowered. And you're very curious about all of it. And you're going in with your particular talents and skills. Wow. And you still have something in your toolbox that you don't know about yet that will help you overcome and solve this, but you had been looking still. You've still been studying. Okay. It seems like if you're in this situation, you kind of have to come out of it to get into the space where you can hear your guidance. But let's see what Spirit has for advice from the custom advice deck that I have here in my hands. Okay, negative feelings, thoughts, it. So identify the negative feelings and thoughts as present, but not yours, right? Like anger is present. Growth mindset, know that there is a solution. Use your drive, your will, your soldier, your urge. Let your friends help you. Know that friendship is important to this situation and this process. And don't be afraid to use that Aries energy. Be the fool. Go where others won't go. Say what others won't say. Pioneer. You're not following. You're leading yourself into unknown territory. So unknown. So unknown. But in that unknown territory is where this gift is going to be revealed to you. When you know everything that's going on, it can't be revealed to you. You have to have stepped into the unknown. And so if you're like owning these negative feelings, then you're not in the unknown because you're saying I am this. So you're knowing something, right? So start identifying those as being present, but maybe not owning them. Wow, this is like really exciting. It got my attention and felt thrilling and emotional and like wow. But yeah, doing this with others that matter to you is important. Like maybe it's like friendship, partnership, harmony. It's learning how to get along in a different way. Spirit, I kind of want to know more about like the importance of others in this. Can you tell me about that? I'm just asking Spirit to direct me towards a deck that will help with this, if there is one. And yes, they're telling me. They are telling me the Starseed Oracle that I have created will give us some clues about this. Oh, okay. So what I'm hearing is like you came with others. You're hearing the call, and you're not the only one who's getting the call, right? You came with others that are interested in this too, or willing to work on this too, who have been working on this too. Freedom, evolutionary, end of cycle, breakthrough. Okay, so whatever cycles you've been in, the friendships that you've been having, you have a soul family here working on this with you. So, like, part of me wants to ask, how do they find their soul family? Because, like, dietary needs, so paying attention to your dietary needs, and Palladian sisters. So these are just energies that are present and playing a part in this. Maybe you're gonna meet your people when you're at a restaurant or looking at recipes or in a group that's, you know, kind of unrelated. Maybe it's like a dietary thing that actually changes things all around, right? Like there's a brain doctor that I've been paying attention to for years, Dr. Amen, and he talks about how certain foods affect the brain, and he does scans on the brain and shows like how red dye 40 actually causes brain damage, and that how every mental illness can actually be healed through healing the brain. He shows this, and he's done scans, and you know, he's healed people who had severe detrimental kind of symptoms and effects from the damage caused to their brain just by what they were eating or not eating. Okay, so it would be different for different people. But this may be actually the angle that you're coming at this from, or it may be the angle that you need to address within yourself in order to be in the space to hear your own guidance better, to hear your own, to break out of whatever it is. I want to ask more about the dietary needs, okay? Tell us about the dietary needs, Spirit. What does it have to do with... What does the dietary needs have to do with this? Is it for them? Is it for their mission? Honor your true feelings. Being kind to your body, knowing that you're not in a position that you can't afford or you can't provide for yourself what you actually need. Okay, so it's going to be within your reach. Knowing there's a solution for anything that you're facing. Playful, laughter, and resting. I think it's about caring for yourself, putting yourself into the equation of a lot of self-care right now, because especially if you've been studying war up close and personal, you may need to recover a bit before you move on to this next leg of the journey. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. I believe that that is complete, and I hope that is helpful to you. That's so interesting and so fascinating and so exciting. And I appreciate you spending your time with me, and maybe we'll see you next time. Bye now. If you're still here, I just wanted to add this in. I got that song, My Boy Builds Coffins, by Florence and the Machine. So you might want to look at those lyrics. It's very interesting. My boy builds coffins for the rich and the poor. Gypsies and liars and thieves. Like, my boy builds coffins. It's like somehow evening the playing field for people. Somehow, something like that, okay? Okay. Alright, that's all. I'll let you go again. For those of you who saw that, it's relevant. For those of you who didn't, that's okay too. We'll see you next time. Okay, if you picked the red Sharpie, this is your reading. I already dealt out the cards from the runes deck and the drawing oracle. Please bear with me while I reveal the runes and look at my chart here. I'm just learning how to read runes, so... Algiz. Let's see. Algiz is... Algiz. Protection, divine protection, sanctuary. Okay. Then you got Fehu. Fehu? Ancestors, Odin, God, divine protection and God. Okay. Seems like you have a very high mission here. Raidho. You are aligning with God's will, and something is changing. Something's changing here. Where you are aligning with God's will. And then we got Perthrow. Perthrow is luck. Hearth, divination, primal law. You're very protected as you go forward on this mission that you're on, which is divinely guided. Okay? Let's see what the drawing oracle reveals. This is supposed to be like... I mean... an island, I guess? Maybe feeling really isolated and spending a lot of time in nature, creating harmony. You may be having fun with others. You may be doing a bit of both. Balancing your time between having fun with others and being very isolated and independent. You may be focusing on just being in harmony within yourself, within all the sides of yourself, all the expressions that you have, okay? You're creating heaven on earth. You're creating peace. You're changing the world by changing how you experience it. You're making it your playground. You're making it divine. You're making it fun. You're making it harmonious. You're making it grounded. You're making it paradise. You're making it strong, independent, driven by your own pleasure, but that doesn't harm others either. Like, it doesn't mean that you don't get annoyed with others or anything like that. It just means you're on board with what's good for all, for yourself and therefore all. You're not causing harm. You're really focused on your journey, divinely guided on your journey. Okay, anything else that we can know about this journey? Oh yeah, look at this. You're being brought into a marriage, a divine union, balance. Getting ready to ride off into the sunset, so to speak. To enjoy this fun and playfulness and independence as an interdependent relationship that is divinely guided. And from that, there will be great ideas. You'll be inspired. There'll be an exchange. But you'll also be just living your life and feeling like your life is your own creation. You have like, first of all, celebrated how far you've come. Understand that obstacles are challenges that may be inspiring you. You've traversed enough. You know that you're supported by spirit and by others. You feel safe and stable. You have a good foundation, and you've achieved much. You've achieved a lot that you set out to achieve. You've understood that you don't have to know everything. You are or have been in contact with a gentleman, kind, courteous. Wow, this is really beautiful. I'm getting kind of dizzy and high off of like this energy. Okay. We got remedy and divine trickster. Interesting. I felt that too. Like, I felt like, wow, this sounds too good to be true. And then it was like, maybe it is. And it's like, maybe maybe this union that you're being led into, right, that seems so perfect and beautiful and blissful, maybe there's like some sort of like place where you've been willing to gloss over the fact that you don't know this other person or yourself to the depth and to the depth that you want to. There's something blocking your view. It's either, it's maybe put there on purpose, or it just could be just like part of a coping mechanism. Okay, let me ask the Starseed Oracle, what would be divine about being led into this situation? What would be divine about being led into this situation, Spirit? What would be divine about being led into this? I feel like it's like a test. Choosing heaven. Okay, so it's like, alright, so you're being put in a position where you have to choose. And my thoughts on that is like, what are the premises that you're choosing from? Certainly you've learned all that glitters is not gold. integrate, make room. There is a remedy. You're remedying something. It's a belief. It's a belief about the way you should operate and the way you should make decisions like these. It's being pointed out to you. It's really important, I think, for you to look into the depths and look at the places where you can't see from the angle you're at. Because you are being guided into this. So, you know, it might, that sense of safety might be like, it's like, where is that coming from? I want to say just because you're led there doesn't mean it's safe. It doesn't mean you're unstable either, and it doesn't mean you can't traverse this. Because I believe that you absolutely can. Okay, Spirit, can we have something else about why the red Sharpie pick has been led into this situation? It seems like such a tease. Yeah, you need to look at the big picture view. You may be seeing what you want to see in some way, in some certain way. Maybe you're tired. Maybe it's like you don't want to bring up the topics that are uncomfortable. Seeding a divine blueprint. Okay, so if this happens, right? If it happens on Earth where people can be deceived into situations that aren't ideal for them, that don't live up to their expectations, that are too good to be true, right? Then someone needs to like remedy that. That's why you're led into this situation. It doesn't mean you have to fall for it, live it out, or anything like that, but you're getting close enough so that you can see it. What is it that lets you see something as divine and perfect and happily ever after when, in fact, you don't know all that well what it is, and you don't know what's behind the thing that's hidden? And with the big picture view that you're gaining, you're going to be able to remedy it. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, let's see. What is the advice, Spirit? What's the advice? This is cool. Okay, healer. Hold on here. Okay, know that this is a spiritual thing, that there have been energies existing, maybe even a hidden enemy. Illusions are being used. That you are a healer. My throat is getting so scratchy. I feel like... Hold on, let me cough and then I'll be right back. No worries there. That's just something to try to mess with me. That's why I don't talk about this, but I got that handled. This is offering you a reflection, something to reflect on. Okay. What is it in your programming, which would be, you know, representative of programming that exists here on Earth, that would allow something like this to happen? Can you stay grounded? Know that Neptune, a spiritual lesson, is being learned here. And that there are parts of the mind that need to be questioned. So look at the unquestioned mind and have faith. Know that you are getting through this. This is something that you are well equipped to traverse. It's like, you know, it came to mind that movie Bird Box, I think it is. Something like that, where they have to be blindfolded because if they look at something then they get killed or something like that. But if they don't look, they just navigate it through. And something like that, where you are navigating something that is so hidden, that's so sneaky, that's so has to be navigated with faith. You know you got this. and also that your body is your navigation system, right? So you can ask your body, you can follow what your body says. Your body is like your vessel on Earth. It's like your spaceship. It's like what you're using to navigate this situation with. So your body will tell you, in fact, your body will tell you where, whatever block it is, where the wall is, what's keeping you from seeing it. Okay? Wow, this makes me want to dig more. I just want to take something from this 8th house oracle, okay? Spirit, can you give us a clue about what is in the body? What is in the programming that is allowing this to happen? This is exciting. I mean, obviously you are guided. Right from the beginning in the runes, we saw that you're guided and protected throughout this whole situation. That still stands. They wanted to assure you of that. Okay. It's a fear of endings. It's a fear of endings. Look at this. Grief, endings, autumn, death, end of cycle. Unhappy family. It's a fear of endings. So, okay. This has to do with the not only ending relationships, but the death cycle itself, that we're kind of put in fear about the endings and the end of life and the risk with being unhappy in a situation that should be happy, right? Your family life should be happy, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes there are things in there, and it's like you get trained to not look at the thing because this is your family and you have to depend on them. They're the only ones there. There's no one else. So if you can't get along in the conditions that are there, you get trained to not look at them, to be blind to them, to gloss over them, to look for the good in the situation when there might not be any, or there might not be what you deserve or what is possible, right? And so you may end up settling for less just because of the fear of ending the cycle, which as a child, when it was implanted in you to operate in this way, it would have been impossible to end the cycle. You know, you couldn't. And so a new conclusion can now be made. I feel drawn to get another card here. But a new conclusion can be made about the ending. So even death as an ending, it's like it's not really an ending. We are still existing, you know, through the energy, even after we leave our body. And we've talked a little bit about their body being the navigation system through this, right? So, okay, so there's something with that. Using your body as the navigation to traverse this. And yeah, I can't like kind of put my finger on that, you know. So let's see, detective. Yeah, dig deeper. Know that there's more to know. Look at that big picture. Dig behind the wall. Look at intentions. Look at what, now that you know what could be causing it, the fear of ending something. Look at more in depth on why that was, where it came from, understand it fully, trace it out, look at it from different angles, right? Integrate it in. Integrate that wound pattern in it from as the healer that you are, which will make room for the bigger picture view. Okay? And then we got turning point, Hecate or Hecate. She is the crone witch, the healer. And there are different stages of her wisdom. And a turning point, you have a choice. See? You've been put in a choice point. And Hecate also is the one who held the torch for Persephone to go into the underworld. So there's help here for you to There is help here for you to navigate the underworld. Look, that support, right? You are being supported. You are being supported. There's just some investigation to do. And this is being done with illusions. So part of me wanted to say, like, well, is this gentleman a trickster? You know, that's what I wanted to know. Is this the person that can be supported? The gentleman, the kind gentleman that's courteous? Or is that an illusion? And I feel like they're not going to tell us. I kind of have that idea that they're not going to tell us, but we can ask. Because I kind of feel like since this scenario is being done with illusions, perhaps when you solve the issue, the illusion will disappear, and then you'll know anyway whether this is somebody who's a friend or a foe. Maybe they had to present as a foe just so that the energy could be activated and the cycle ended, and then maybe they won't play that role anymore. It's possible. Okay? Yeah, I want to say that's possible. Let me ask with this deck here. I've got a new deck I've been working on developing. So I'm just going to check in about how are we relating with this gentleman here? How are we relating with this gentleman? Ask for clarity of intentions. Yeah, so you need to know what this gentleman's intentions are. And by looking at his actions, if it's not clear, then ask what are his intentions. And spend time alone. So this is going to be solved without this person. You know, you do have support. Perhaps go to the divine support that you have. So perhaps go to the support of your self and your guides, right? So, anything else, Spirit? Look, we got part ways, yeah. I think that it is going to be a parting of ways when you end the cycle with a gentleman that is not what he seems. Okay? But only take that if it resonates as true for you. You know whether it's true for you. You know where that's hitting at you inside you. And it doesn't mean that you should bypass this energy that needs to be brought up in you and integrated, right? Because you don't want to have to create this situation all again to get that energy active and integrate it. Like, that's what you came to do with this situation. It's really important you do that, okay? So don't run away or avoid the situation, but use the emotions that come up, right, from dealing with this person, to elicit what it was in your family life that felt that same way, and then accept, validate why you felt that way in your family. That same feeling that this person brings up, it's like you had to put up with something that it was a facade and you knew it, but you had to put up with it. And how did that make you feel? And can you love and accept the part of you that felt that way? Okay? Wow, this is big. This is big, but, like, you know, you got this. You can totally do this. And thank you for doing this. I honor you for doing this. Okay? You are a strong, independent, and capable healer who will remedy this situation. Wow, not just for you. You know, that's catchy for humanity. That's catchy for the collective. That's a big, beautiful job you're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope this is helpful to you in some way, and thank you for spending your time with me. Okay, we'll see you next time. Okay, the green Sharpie. You picked the green Sharpie. This is your reading. I already dealt out the cards for the runes and the drawing oracle, and please bear with me as I lay out the runes. So I'm going to look at my chart here because I'm just learning runes myself. Okay. We got Nothies. Nothies. Necessity, needs, friction, shadow. Okay. And we got Ewas. Ewas is horse, twin gods, relationships. That's like Gemini energy. Relationships, okay. Twin gods. That's also like Artemis and Apollo. Got Gibo. A gift. And then Jera. Earth, cycles, right action. And there's a card that I kept seeing while I was, and it was Dagas, dawn, intuition, light within. Alright, so something is being brought to your attention about your shadow. You're seeing it through the reflection of somebody else, though, okay? So something that you see in someone else, or that's showing up in your relationships or relating with other people in general, is showing you something about what is in your shadow, meaning what is in your subconscious, what you don't see about yourself yet. And let's see. The interaction is a gift. The interaction is a gift because it shows you a loop, a cycle that you've been stuck in. Okay? And that allows you to break out of the cycle. Okay. Let's see what these cards show us here. There is some celebrating to do. So you may be celebrating with other people, and that might be the place where you're seeing the shadow kind of come up, meaning something in the subconscious that you maybe are becoming aware of as something that always happens. You are feeling independent, or you're dealing with somebody who's very independent. It's a program. It's definitely something where it could be something religious, where you were taught something about how to operate within relationships, and what you are allowed to celebrate and what you are not allowed to celebrate. Also, you may be trying to make really healthy, good choices for yourself at this time. You may be under the programming of a belief about how to eat and what you eat and what it means. You may be utilizing essential oils at this time, like looking for ways to help your body, so maybe like eating better, giving yourself the good frequency, only taking a portion that is, appropriate for you. I think that you are enjoying wealth at this time. That's allowing you to treat yourself and treat yourself better. And also that there's a long road ahead, that you're willing to take the road to move forward. Okay. So I kind of feel like it's about leaving something behind when you're going to travel here. But let me ask the cards to tell us anything more than Spirit. What is it about this whole situation? Are you doing a lot of celebrating? Just kind of living it up and let's see what the cards have to say here. Pleasant surprise, wowed, yay, celebrate, woohoo. Yeah, here's more about celebrating. Maybe a surprise birthday, a surprise celebration, maybe surprise, there's something to celebrate. It says shine like a diamond, family home at Christmas time, kids playing. Yeah, parties, like celebrations are here. So during this time of celebrating, taking good care of yourself, I think that's when this programming thing is going to be shown. But they're not telling us that yet. So let's see what else the cards have to say about that, okay? Like maybe some guilt is going to come up about all this celebrating you're doing. Maybe you're showing what you're doing on social media. Agreements, integrity, love, trust. Well, so far I don't see an issue here. Union, lovers, partnership, twins, soulmate. What's coming up is your fears. And maybe like about how you thought it was supposed to look based on maybe like television shows, movies, you know, romance kind of comedies or whatever like that you've seen, and like also what scripture may have told you about how relationships look and feel and all of that. Maybe there's something in there that's just like keeping you from realizing what could be really much more fulfilling, what could feel more whole. It's like the program is making you feel like there's still something missing when actually perhaps there isn't. That feels appropriate. Let's see, anything else, Spirit? Yeah, let me look at this. What is it about this programming that is an issue here? Or that is being looked at this time? You're having to have courage because you're breaking out of something that's established, something that you've done for a long time. And in doing this, you're making sure you don't miss an opportunity. You don't want to miss an opportunity for a union, for a partnership, for a soulmate, while you're kind of looking at things through a lens that isn't accurate. Like maybe what you think is good and worthwhile investing in is actually an unfair relating dynamic. Yeah, there's like maybe who you're celebrating with is actually people who are in an unfair relating dynamic with you. And you may be avoiding ending things. Maybe you kind of think everyone's a little bit unhappy, so you should just stay in an unhappy situation. Yes, yes. But there's more to know about this situation. Yeah, it's just a belief that you've been operating under. It's an idea that was implanted in you that is not yours about what you should be accepting in relationship, in relating with others. I'm going to ask the Hermes deck for any clues there about a situation. Help us get to the root cause, please, Hermes. I think it's your expectation due to what you were told or taught or what you adopted as truth. And it's actually like you can be a lot more whole than that truth that you've adopted allows. And it's going to be a pleasant surprise when you allow that for yourself. It's like, oh, I could have missed out on this if I had never addressed this. If I had never opened myself to the possibility that there could be more, I would have settled for less. Yeah. Because you expect less, you're a vibrational match to less right now. You may feel like you are serving others, right? Like, you may have taken a position as like, oh, it's okay. Well, I know it's not perfect, but I'm in service to this person. Or this person is in service to me. You know, something like that. Yeah, there's been an unequal exchange in the relating that's been accepted as normal or right when it is against who you really are and what your soul knows to be true. And you may be working with your hands. It may be like you built this from the ground up, so you feel like, you know, you don't want to give it up or something. But there's unknown factors. Like, you don't know the risk of staying in this. You do not know the risk. There's unknown factors here. Okay? Yeah, because I was just, when I got the first empty, I was shown Damocles. And Damocles in the mythology shows the king's servant, which we already got assistant here. And Damocles always wanted to be in the king's throne. And he was serving the king. And then one day the king said, go ahead, have a seat. And he sat in the king's throne. And then he noticed that above the throne was a sword hanging by a strand of hair. So Damocles didn't know the risk that he would be under by taking on that position of king. So what he wanted so bad actually put him at risk that wasn't worth it to him, because he could have just been allowing his own success, right? He could have just been fulfilling his own self instead of trying to be in somebody else's shoes. He didn't understand the risk he was putting himself in, or the opportunities he was missing by staying in a situation where he was trying to achieve somebody else's success, which he didn't earn. It wasn't real. The success that he was wanting, it wasn't even what he thought it was, right? He was just told, being a king, that's great. Being a king, that's what you want. Being a king, that's the best. Well, it's like, yeah, he was told that, and he was programmed to think that, and he felt unwhole because he longed for that. But then when he got that, he realized, holy crap, this is way, way, way more risk than it's worth. I could have just been enjoying my own life and fulfilling my own self through, you know, not trying to achieve something, a position that was not for me. Which was very much, it had to be, this all has to be based on surface, right? We talked about a foundation, though. Didn't we talk about a foundation? Yeah, if you built your foundation with parasitic relating, and you're trying to live up to image, okay, so that is what's in the shadow. That is what's in the shadow. That is... I'm just referencing my chart again. Please bear with me. That is... Okay, but there's still a gift in knowing this. So there's a gift in knowing this and having had this situation unfold for you, right? There's something, the gift is that the way you've been relating, the unfulfilling feeling that you have, now you know what that's like. Now you know the risk, there's a risk with it, right? There's a risk of missing an opportunity, that would provide you with more fulfillment, that wasn't based on the shallow relating that you were accepting and presenting and wanting to be a part of. The gift is that you figure out what you do want by knowing what you don't want. And Spirit is telling this to you now so that you don't have to do what Damocles did. Wait until you get into the risk, right? You know, if you are in the risk, then you understand, you know, the situation very well and you understand the risk. But I think this is like, there's a gift in this situation, so take your gift and run. Now, let's see what Spirit has for advice. You know, of course, only do this if it feels right to you. Only do this if it resonates with you, right? If this feels true in your heart. So they are saying there is a gift in this, though, right? So 7th house, relationships. You're learning something about relating. And hold your vision. So, you know, maybe it was like that, that desire for wholeness that you had to give up on, you know. Maybe there's something else that you did want, that you kept in the dream world because you didn't think it was actually possible to come to fruition. Hold the vision of what you do prefer for your relating, you know. Can you have all this celebration and wealth and good time with a depth of relating that is more fulfilling for you? The way to do that is to go through the wounding that comes up when you realize all this, right? And it's going to be originating in your 4th house. So that's your home, your how you grew up, where you grew up, your foundation. It's totally a foundational issue. You have built a foundation on a premise that is going to crumble, and you don't know the risk of that. You're trying to be shiny. You're trying to have an image, and that image, it's like you're gonna be humbled because that's how life works. Oh, here, there's a bunch of cards that weren't in my shuffle and a bunch that flew out. Let's just see. Mercury, communicate. Communicate. There's need for communication in this situation. Virgo, look at the details. You are very detail-oriented. You use your will. You must take action. You must change this. This isn't like a situation where Spirit's going to come along and clear it out for you. You got yourself into this. You got to get yourself out, and you got to do it by taking action and being in the now moment so that you can hear your guidance, the trueness of who you are, not your program, but listen in the present moment to your own guidance system. There is going to be mystery. There is going to be unknown factors, and failure is a part of success. So these are advices from Spirit. Know that, you know, some of us were programmed into avoiding failure. And it's like failure is how you learn what to do. Failure is part of every successful person's journey. So there may be mistakes made along the way, and that's got to be okay. You got to be resilient enough to move through that. Decide how you want to feel. Okay? So like, do you want to decide to feel like there's more and you just can't get it? Or do you want to hold the vision of how you want to feel and then decide to feel that way? Decide to feel whole. Decide to feel you can have it all. Decide to feel that there is fulfillment, that there is wholeness, that there is something that has more depth than what it is that you're in. And there's a reason that you're relating on that level where you're trying to care about an image, and it's rooted in your family home and what was going on there. And also have patience, okay? It's going to be a step-by-step process, and it's a spiritual lesson. It's a huge spiritual lesson. So nothing's gone wrong. You're not bad or wrong, or, you know, it's like if you feel bad about being in this situation based on what this reading is telling you, that is a part of you that needs your love, because that part of you will hold you back if he doesn't have your love. If she doesn't have your love, she will hold you back because you'll always be afraid to fail. When actually making mistakes is how we learn, and it has to be okay. And sometimes when we were taught to keep up an image above all else, we won't allow ourselves to make mistakes. We won't allow people to see who we really are. We won't relate on a level that allows us to feel fulfilled and whole and really known. And you can't really feel loved if you haven't let yourself be known fully, right? Because you know that the person that you're relating with only loves you on the surface level that you've shown them. You haven't given them the opportunity to love you on the depths of who you really are if you've not been willing to be that with yourself. If you've not even been willing to admit that you're not feeling whole and fulfilled, then that's the level that that's the foundation. Like, you built on a foundation of that, and that's all you'll have until you take the steps to change it. And you might have to do some communicating about it, and it might be communication with yourself, but staying in the now moment helps you communicate with your own guidance system, and that is going to be very helpful for you at this time. You are being given a gift through this situation, okay? And I think it's a gift of freedom from a limitation that you were willing to live with, okay? I mean, I know this sounds like really heavy and like a big job, and like, you know, I can imagine that Damocles felt really crushed when he finally got what he wanted and he found out that it was a way worse situation than he was in. But that's okay, like, right? This is part of life. It's okay to fail to figure out what we prefer. It's part of it. It's not wrong. And I think that's definitely an important point for you to take into consideration as you navigate this for yourself, that you do have the talents and skills needed to traverse this situation. You absolutely do. Okay? Okay. So beautiful. It really does kind of remind me of the red pile that we did just before this one. So if you were drawn to more than one, you might want to look at that pile too. If not, it's a similar situation looked at from a different angle. So whatever you were drawn to, just stick with that. And it's okay if you were drawn to more than one pile. I just felt drawn to mention that the message was similar, and just that we addressed it from a different angle in this pile. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to you. I'm sorry if I repeated myself in that. And I want to thank you for spending your time with me. Your time is very valuable. I know you've been living it up, and I hope that you are able to enjoy it to a much more fulfilled and deeper depth than before. Okay? Enjoy. Maybe see you soon.